lack of a better wording, some people kind of felt like it was a labor camp
Yeah.
to start with. It was come out, okay, you do this, no training, no explanation, not enough of it anyway.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And it was too much, they were just overwhelmed by it. I think that caused them to lose interest. And that's why I feel so strongly about knowing up front what is expected of them.
Yeah.
And they've got to understand it.
And like you say, find out what their level of expertise and what they want to learn, what they want to get out of it.
What they want, what they expect. They may not, they may work for 2 or 3 days and find out they don't like it at all.
That's where we think they need to come out and volunteer first.
But
to find
gardening is hard work.
Well,
It's
a lot
hard
of people
physical
want to
work.
learn about it, and the first thing they learn about it is that it's hard work.
Yeah.
A lot of times that's what they learn.
And that's where it ends.
Okay, I know all about it now. It's not for me.
Always be out here when the sun's shining and it's 70 degrees and it's pretty and
Yeah.
nice and comfortable, and it just
And there's a
doesn't work like
potluck?
that. Yeah, right.
Well, I had that question in the survey was rate these 1 through 3. Is it getting the vegetables? Is it learning how to do it? Or is it the social aspect of it? And I had people rank what was their priority. But
Anybody that
Everybody's
says
social
it,
aspect is number one.
Right.
They go join a gym.
exactly, and frankly, if it's just getting the produce, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, yeah, these aren't there. You could tell what wasn't
They need
there.
to go to the store. Right.
Learning and enjoying gardening, it probably should be number one.
Right.
Really.
Right.
But I remember you guys, the first meeting out there, first organizational meeting, I remember you guys both getting up and saying, this is going to be hard work. But until people actually do it,
You don't know.
you can tell somebody hard work. But,
That's right. That's
You know?
why. Oh, I work hard.
but I remember
Oh,
you
work very
really
hard.
stressed
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
I think it just went through a lot of people's,
Yeah.
I can do
Well, and I
this.
think then
Sure.
that's like what Robert was saying, was they got out there and they're like, okay, this just isn't for me, and that they
Yeah.
lost interest and poof, off they went.
What do you think, you're maybe looking at a 30-member group? 40, 50?
You almost for
Well,
the
member
budget,
or,
Working
for the
member.
or
budget, I mean,
people. I
It's
mean,
a-
Bruce and I are one member, but
yeah,
Okay.
for two, yeah.
One share.
one share. But when you get 2 people.
I think we need, because with this group here, and I could say it, is you guys are going to be probably the key leaders. I mean, you're going to probably be the ones to get the complimentary membership. Now, we got a lot of members that aren't here, they just can't put the time commitment and don't really want to do the leadership thing. But we probably have to have at least 30 paid members, just so we have money in the budget for trip tape.
It's one of those
Well,
things.
if you have 30 paid members, whether it's
Yeah.
actually 40 people or whatever, could probably produce an extra 10
Yeah.
amounts of food. So maybe you
And
start
if we
with
got 10
maybe start with a
non-working
10
members.
non-members at $20 a week. You got $200 a week coming in. Now you don't do it until you actually got some production going. It doesn't start in August or September. It probably starts in October, November. And in a true CSA, what you got to understand is you pay your $20 a week. You get your bag or box of whatever's available at the time. You don't pick and choose.
Yeah, in a non-working CSA.
In a non-working CSA, and what you could do is, these 10 people would have their 10 Publix bags, and each week that's filled up in the cooler with their name on it, and
They
they
don't
pick,
get to
they
choose
pick
like
it up.
you
No,
guys.
no,
You
they
know,
wouldn't.
That's a good
And that's
point.
what a real CSA, like up where my daughter
That's
is,
how you
they're
get rid of
all
all those
over the
extra
place.
turnips.
Yeah, exactly. Get rid of the turnips. Sorry, folks, you got a bag full of turnips this week. Enjoy them. But no, I mean,
That
you would
goes
have
with
to.
the coal in your stocking.
You would have to do a good job of divvying it out, but I mean, you could easily start with 10, and then you got $200 a week coming in. You get
Well, I think
$800 a
this,
month in November, December, January, February, March, April
Yeah.
coming in. You got extra almost $5,000.
And the other idea, I don't know if you've discussed this, but they were saying even maybe have a non-working section that had a hired person working it. I don't know if you want to separate that or not.
The only reason I said that is
Well, that would be totally separate from this then. If you did that.
yeah, I guess it's not headed in that direction. I wanted to, whoever is,
Maybe we need to handle the non-working. Where you guys could have your own little working CSA. And I was thinking of maybe new members that, you know, maybe I work directly with them and you know, if they want to come out and volunteer and they could be possibly eligible for the next year, but the first year maybe you guys don't want the responsibility of the new
Well,
members.
yes, you're not gonna segregate these people and say.
Yeah, well, the only reason I was looking at it, Val, was if you know, if there are 40 or 50 people, yeah, you can easily produce enough for
Yeah.
60. And so you
We
make
should
10.
work that way.
Yeah, so you make 10. Oh, well, we could have. I mean, we left a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah,
lot
There's
of
a
stuff.
lot of
with
stuff.
waste.
I had more
Well-
vegetables. I didn't buy any vegetables for the last
Here's
4
where I'm
months.
coming from. It's a couple of things. But
But
first,
why?
as far as how many
Huh?
people,
Why?
Why didn't I buy any?
Yeah.
Because they were
No,
coming here.
because I had more than I could eat here.
Oh, okay, so you didn't buy any from Val. I thought you meant you weren't using your
Right.
bunny bucks.
Oh no, I used my. I don't know if I used them all, but I used all that my wife and I could eat.
Okay, but then
So
you
there's
didn't
no-
buy anything extra from the store is what you
What
were
about
No.
garlic?
saying.
The
Okay.
eggs and stuff, but I mean, we could easily produce an extra 10, and then you're getting $200 a week, and that would support the drip tape, the seeds, the.
If the CSA was self-contained, you're saying?
Yeah.
like I said,
Yeah,
I
stuff that
think
you need, fertilizers and
Yeah.
sprays and everything.
we used to sort of have a rule of thumb, you know, when I was in framing houses and everything, that you had to have a crew of like 3 or 4 guys that were all just buddies working together, or, you know, at some point you had to get like more than 30 guys, you know what I mean? And I think it's a little bit that way here. If it was just a few people and we're just friends and we want to go work in the garden together, well then let's go do it. What's stopping us? But I think it's, if you want to call it a CSA,
Okay.
you sort of have
To have.
get a certain number. I mean, you know what I mean? If we're going to crank it up a little bit, just to bother to organize the thing. So yeah, I'm thinking something like 50. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing, I want to be fair to everybody. And I see most of you guys working pretty hard out there compared to a lot, and, you know, people that are out there sort of, you know, tickling away, just waiting for the, you know, wait till it's time to go, and then there's people that are really getting the job done. And I don't know, I mean, are you guys, if you guys are the ones really responsible for making sure that things happen and get the work done, I mean, I don't want that, it's a little too much for our shoulders to really make sure that this whole thing works if we're going to get more than 50 people or so, and especially if a lot of them are non-working members. But I don't want to throw that responsibility on people's shoulders without having them, you know, compensated and properly motivated. Now, I don't want to make an employee out of anybody, but I mean, is a free membership enough to make that worth it for you? In other words, I want to treat somebody well and make it worth their while to really help me out with this thing. So, you know, you guys tell me, I mean, what's the best way to...
What's fair?
My idea originally was to try to make it so that, I don't know, somehow the people that were really helping us with this and really getting it done got a little bit of a money kickback. I mean, a little actual cash back to the pocket. Now, maybe that's not that important to people. I don't know. But I don't want anybody to feel like it's a labor camp or they're out there doing my
Yeah.
work for me. But if we're going to have a 50 or 60 member, 80 member, or whatever this turns into by how many people signs up for it, you know, and a lot of these people are new and whatever. I just want to know that I have some people I can count on that are going to help me get this done. You know, otherwise, I'm a little scared.
Well, I think if everybody pays up front, I think it's good because then you know who you
That's
don't
right.
have and don't have.
Right.
And even if they barely got their money.
Yeah. So you have that. I
And
think
Carson
that's.
Kevin O'Dare, that's what you count on.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
some
And
are
that's-
gonna, and too bad.
Money talks and the rest walks.
And I think that's important. And if all the members, us including everything, we got our money in there. You got some skin in the game. I've got something invested in here. You know, as a reason for me to come out. At the end of the season, if there's a
If we get
little
it back.
rebate or something, big deal. But I don't think that's going to be real
Well,
important to
something
most.
Molly mentioned was,
most
you know,
people.
if you do a really good job of being farmers, I mean, like real farmers, not just people farting around in the garden, you should theoretically have enough to take care of these non-working
easily,
members,
yeah.
and maybe something to bring to the
To
farmers
sell.
market as well, if anybody's interested in doing that. I don't know if they are.
And because we were talking about, all right, there are some people that are physically challenged that could not actually work the field. But what if we had some of those either older women or people that have physical, what about if we were growing
they
that
wanna
extra?
join.
If they want to join, what if we gave them a task of, as Brian and Val were saying one day, either putting them, washing everything under the hanger and doing that kind of stuff, which is still labor intensive, but it might be labor that they could do.
They can
Or-
stand up and.
Yeah,
do
they
that
can
in
They
the
can
shade.
wash and
Send
bag
them,
the lettuce.
or
You know,
if it's-
somebody
if
go
we
out
can-
there, harvest it for them, they say, here,
If
I'm
they-
gonna go pick another
If
basket.
they come out consistently
Right,
when you need them.
or
they-
can we
Clean the
send them to,
CSA,
like-
cooler, 'cause that thing's dirty every
Yeah.
time I go in there.
Or send them to the farmer's market where we could actually then, I won't say make money, but we might be able to get our money back at the end of the year. But that we're not gonna end up that, like here at the end of the year, if we needed money for fertilizer or
I think it'd be much
pesticides.
easier to make them non-working members at $20 a week and you'll get your money back because.
Keep it that way.
Yeah, they're not gonna be out there when you're harvesting the lettuce for whatever reason, they're not gonna show up. So you're gonna end up washing.
Okay.
Then they're gonna show up when you're not harvesting lettuce and say, I'm ready, and you go, well,
Well, we don't, yeah, okay.
Well, that's why I was
And I don't
kind of
know if
thinking,
anybody-
just keep it at 2 days a week. So,
Yeah,
you
no,
know
I-
what I mean, so we kind of keep these.
no, I'd
weeks
agree, it's 2
working
days a
together.
week. Lettuce, some of the.
And it
stuff-
got confusing with A week, B week,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that got
So
very.
I think, I think you just make that person, and I'm sure they'd be glad to be a non-working member at
Okay.
$20 a week. And
Oh.
come pick up their bag of veggies
Stuff.
and be on their way.
Okay.
It keeps them kind of out of your way. It keeps you worrying about, well, did they show up? Didn't they show up? Where are they? Who's this? Who's
Yeah.
that? I think that'd be a lot easier.
Well,
lot
we
cleaner.
can play this a little bit by ear too, as it goes, and just see,
Yeah.
see who's showing up and see who really wants to do
I
things.
think the real key is going to be how many you get on the list, whether it's 40, 50, or 60.
Yeah.
And you'll know quite a few that how much they can or can't do. Then you can plan out how much area you want to do. And then you could even say, okay, well, I think we can support 15 non-workers. And let them know exactly what a non-working one is. You get whatever's available that week. We have a freeze, we have a crop failure. That's the way it goes.
See, we almost need to try to figure out, at least get a rough idea, okay, how many people want to be in this thing? Well, the first question people have is, well, how much does it cost? Well, it kind of depends how many people want to be in this thing.
Yeah, it's
You
a
know what I mean?
catch-22.
Because, well, when I figure out how many people want to be in, how many people want to be working, how many people want to be non-working, how many people do I know I can really count on to really help me make this happen, then I can start figuring out, well, okay, I need to give these guys all free memberships because, those are the people that are, really like staff, basically. Then I've got these other, group that I know they'll show up and they'll help, and then we've got people that just absolutely, they don't even belong in the field,
Yeah.
and kind of figure out how to break that down. Well, then I know how much land I'm allowing for it, how much supplies I need, and all that kind of thing. What I want to do for next year, I think everybody probably heard me say this by now, but once I kind of can figure all that out, that's where I get confused. But I want to figure out how much budget I need to set aside to pay ourselves a fair rent for the land itself.
And the use of our equipment.
And the use of the equipment, the fuel, fertilizer, irrigation, so forth and so on.
That needs
all
to come off the top.
Right, you take that and you just, whether you physically take it and stuff it in a pillowcase or put it in a bank account or whatever it is, that's there, that's it, that's done, that's paid for the year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. People pay their money up front, there's no reason that shouldn't be just set to the side. And theoretically, everything that's left over, well, if there's anything left over, I guess that's to help us sort of make sure the work gets done as far as labor or something, or
Well, it's also an investment towards next season too.
or it could be an investment towards next season,
Or an equipment, or.
that's
Yeah.
possible
Plastic
too.
for the
Yeah.
greenhouse
Yeah,
that we
that's
need,
possible,
or
too.
setting up
And
the
you'd like to get a
greenhouse.
greenhouse, you'd like to get some composting going, there's some
Right.
stuff you'd
Be
like
nice
to
to
do,
have
and there's
staff.
some equipment.
A little
Every year for
yeah,
that,
a
you
little
know?
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe
nice.
a nice horse tiller or something like that,
Yeah.
the
In
CSA
between
actually
the rows,
physically
yeah.
owns or something.
Yeah,
Smaller one.
and I know that Robert, you've been talking about wanting to do building some composter. You know what we did earlier in the year when we planted the trees and we, came out and helped make the boxes around the lychees. Again, if here, July, August, September, until we actually start getting going more, if you want us to come out twice a month with a group of 10 people and we do a project for the day, build 6 composters, that we can put in different places in the field, or, let's build the greenhouse so that the infrastructure's there, so that when we're ready to hit the ground running in September, we know what's going on. Because I don't think those of us that are committed for next year, we'll be here this summer. Yeah, are you supposed to take the summer off? Sure, but Does it mean we're not going to prepare so that when the season comes next year, we're not scrambling around and figuring, oh my
Sure,
God,
sure.
what do we have to do real fast to try to get going? If we can
No,
lay
yeah,
the
you're
groundwork
absolutely right.
now.
Yep, the
Yeah.
more you can just keep caught up with things and,
Yeah,
that's right, sure,
yeah.
sure, okay.
So, you know, if
Yeah,
you've
that
got
makes
some
a big
bigger
difference,
projects
yeah.
like that, you know, I know you want to do your greenhouse, and if we do some composters, yeah, it just makes sense.
I'm just not used to asking someone to do something if I'm not writing them a check at the end of the week. You know what I mean? I've had a crew, you know, I had 15 guys working for me when we were framing houses, and, you know, I could tell them what to do all day long, but, you know, you better be there on Friday, you know?
Right.
It's just, this is a little different for it because I have people that are willing to work, and I feel like they're out here doing my work for me, and I kind of feel bad if they're not.
Well,
I don't know,
it's an
maybe-
investment. We're
Well,
investing.
they're doing their own work.
We're
really.
investing in the
Well,
future.
yeah,
We're
ourselves,
investing for
you know?
ourselves.
I just hope it's worth it for a few vegetables. I mean, you know, the smart ass kid next door, he gives me a hard time about bringing back slavery and stuff like that. You know, and, you know, I feel bad sometimes.
Well,
you know?
you're not chaining anybody to the farm.
No,
you know,
yeah,
so
yeah,
it's,
yeah.
you know,
Gun to our
voluntary.
heads.
It's a working CSA. I mean, people who sign up want to do it know exactly what it's going to be. So I wouldn't
But
worry about
every
that.
year, you know, you're going to retain out of the new group, you're going to retain a few core people. You know,
Sure.
and you're going to be building on that every year. You know, which is a good thing.
And then at some
It'll
point
get
we'll
easier.
say, no more members. We
Yeah.
like our little group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's when you start taking in the non-member CSA aspect of it and start growing.
And
from
make
there.
some money out of it.
Let me ask you guys this, because, you know, when Susan originally came to me with this thing in the beginning, and said she wanted to do a CSA and wanted to, you know, have some space out here, and was I interested in it and all this, and my first thought that went through my head, and it wouldn't have worked the first year because I could see now people just weren't quite ready for it, but my first thought was, I would hate to have to see people pay to be able to come work their own garden. I mean, I've got to get something out of the deal, and I have no problem with that. I mean, I've invested in buying the farm and paying the taxes and all that, run the equipment and everything. But if, I mean, it could be thought of more as real agriculture where you're really growing for market and things like that. In other words, the CSA ought to be about able to make enough money for itself that it covers its own expenses, I think. You know, if you really cranked out the production and took it to the farmer's market or possibly, you know, selling, I don't know if it's worth selling to our wholesaler, Albert's Organics, but I mean, we've got a tractor trailer that stops here twice a week, and all one needs to do is have the stuff boxed and put on the back of that truck. In other words, are we?
But I don't think people are interested
I
in
don't
that.
think it's headed that way, but let me
Not
just,
yet.
Are we headed towards that, or I mean, it's really more of a garden club, is what we're doing here. More, I mean, it's.
Because then it becomes more like a job, and I don't think people really want that. I mean, it's just, you know,
Well, I'm
you
just
guys
trying to
enjoy
get
taking
it-
your own.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
you want to do what you want to
I
do.
mean, that we've got enough that, you know, like, you know, you can, as opposed to, all right, for the non-working shares, here's your basket, right?
But I think we
Of-
would keep
of
that to
turnips.
a minimum because
Right.
we don't want to
Until
overburden
you,
anyone.
yeah, until you feel how much extra you can
Yeah.
Right,
produce.
but then as we get better at what we're doing, that then, yeah, okay, so for our membership, gee, maybe we can take a little more than just the $15 worth of bunny buffs this week, and we had a bumper load of watermelons.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can take
Oh,
an extra watermelon and give one to my mom and
Oh,
one to my dad and
absolutely,
stepmom,
yeah.
so that it's back to what you're saying, it is your own garden, and I'm not trying to do it to make a profit. I think
Okay.
I'd rather keep it more on a personal level, but
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know, that's me.
The only
Well, the
reason
other-
why you have the non-working just to
Well, the
they help cover
non-working will
expenses.
generate some revenue, and then maybe year two, instead of 600 for the working member, it's 500 or 450 or something
Yeah,
like
but
that.
then it
you know,
starts
that-
going down.
Well, that's what you could see.
Yeah.
But if you only had 10, 15 non-members at $20 a week, you can generate some
Yeah, like you
income to
said,
pay
you're gonna have,
for-
and the nice thing about that is if that's a separate group from, let's say, the 40, that you get your money off the top, that you know, okay, we're covered for the year, we've got enough money to pay ourselves, to run the equipment, to buy the seed, to get the fertilizer, to get the pesticides that we need. So you've
Yeah.
got that set there. Then the money you're talking about bringing in,
Totally different.
then gives
That-
us, then that cushion, like
Yeah.
everybody needs
Well,
that
you
cushion.
can charge them anything until you start producing 10 bags of vegetables a week, which
Right.
will probably be October, November. And then you'd have to make them do it on a monthly basis. You don't want to say just every week drop off your 20. You got to commit for a month. So
Right.
4 So you'd have the $80 up front, and they come get it for that, and if they're unhappy with it, then they don't come back.
Yeah.
I mean, and
But then that's like that extra money that then, okay, well, is there something else we need to do? Is there something
yeah,
that
to
we
buy
haven't counted
equipment
on?
or fertilizer, and possibly the working members, their cost goes down the following year if
Right.
there's money
there's
left
a
over.
surplus,
If there's
yeah.
not, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
A lot of them up in North Carolina, where my daughter lives, they have a combination of where this one little farm, she has 70 CSA members and has a waiting list of about 40 or 50 more. And then so they do about half of theirs through a CSA, and then the other half they sell at the farmers markets around Chapel Hill or
Okay.
Hillsborough. Is the way they do it. Now it's a totally different culture up there than it is down here.
That right.
You don't have the local support in this area for local agriculture that you do up there. It's really limited here, I believe.
Around here, we've got
And
more
they come
people
in my
that
store
they
wanting
think they want
support.
to.
Yeah.
And it's fashionable. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's a different culture up there. I mean, you got them all over the place, and they're telling them they're making anywhere between $20,000 and $30,000
Well,
an
it's-
acre.
Wow.
Selling the
That's where I
product.
thought, it'd just be kind of neat, like what you were saying, if the CSA, well, Susan was talking about a CSA restaurant, kind of, which that's a whole other story. But to be able to have a thing at the farmer's market and say, this is the product of the White Rabbit CSA, and, the people got together, the people grew this stuff, and now we're taking it and we're selling it here, and, my
Yeah,
God,
give
it'd be in the
external-
Press Journal and Channel 12 News and everything else, it'd be a big deal that, this group of urban type people managed to get together and not only produce enough to feed themselves, but they're producing enough extra that it's like paying for all the farm, costs and everything else, and they're, doing okay with it. And it just, I guess, in my mind, and nobody has to be with me on this, I'm not offended, but to me, that's the difference between farting around in your backyard with a garden and really being a farmer, is when you start producing more than you can eat and selling it and actually paying for things. And that's, I don't know, I just thought it'd be a kind of a feather in the cap for a CSA to be able to do that, to actually be that successful and that productive.
Well, I think we'll get a good handle. So we had this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think next year we'll probably prove that if we can do that, so that year 3, maybe that's what we do. Maybe we build that in
And maybe,
for then
maybe
year
you don't
3.
necessarily have to go to the farmer's market or sell to Albert's, but make it that you can get more non-working members, and like
Yeah.
you're saying, that's you're kind of making a little bit of money off of them.
Oh, yeah.
I never thought about doing it like what you were saying, that their season starts when the product is actually.
Yeah,
okay,
you can't charge them until
we
they
got
get
this
something.
much X amount, we can allow and do it on a month-to-month basis, because it changes month-to-month. We got this extra product, so we can allow, okay, we got enough for 10 extra people. This month, we can afford to have 10 non-working
Yeah.
members, and then that money goes into
And they have to
that
understand they
Yeah, and
get
then it
they get
can
a
reduce
diverse
the cost of the
group
people
of
that are
products,
paying.
what's
Right.
available.
So that, let's say, a
Right.
working membership goes down from
Right.
$450 to $400 to $350 to $250.
Yeah, they don't just get broccoli and beans, they get broccoli, beans, collards, whatever's available at that time. It's a grab bag, you get what
Right.
it is, and that's it, you don't pick and choose.
And that was the fun thing towards the end of this season, going into the cooler and seeing Robert's corn, your broccoli, the squash. I mean, all of a sudden we went in and it's like, wow, look at all the stuff on the shelves, because we had such a rough start this fall. Everything got drowned out. So, we didn't have much other than lettuce on those shelves in the fall.
Well, the other thing too is you didn't
And
have.
turnips. We did have turnips.
You didn't have I mean, I joined this thing with no intention of working out here. When I first saw it in the newspaper, I said, I'm going to support the local farmer. I'm going to give him $600. I'm going to go get my $20 or $40 worth of vegetables a week. And if the crop fails, the crop fails, but I support a local farmer. That was my whole intention. No intention coming out here working at all. And then I got to enjoy it. To me, that was a real CSA. The farmer grows it. I take what's available, and you're supporting the farmer. But I think at the beginning of the season, you probably had more people like me here that you didn't have a cohesive.
We came out that way.
Yeah.
I mean, we
didn't have a
joined 'cause
cohesive
I
group.
wanted him to have his organic vegetables.
Well, there's very few
But then
people
once we
that
got here, we got hooked.
gung ho about it right off the bat.
No, I came out the day when we had 100 people out here planting all this thing in seed trays, and the next day it rains 18 inches, or the next week, and then I didn't really think much about it or do anything about it. Well, if that happened this next season with the a core of 10, 15, 20 people, we know there's a problem, we're gonna be out here next week and replant or redo, so I
Yeah,
think.
they're ripping the tops off your beer cans and bailing the water out of
Yeah.
the house.
I think you're gonna have it's gonna change a lot from the experience that we
Yeah.
gained this year to where some of the pitfalls we had this season aren't gonna happen next year.
So what changed in you that you started out not wanting to work, and what made
When I
you
came out
start?
here, nobody's doing anything. I saw all the weeds and I felt bad about the poor little plants. So I wanted to take care of them.
They started calling you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
come
plus-
take care of
Paul, you know
Plus-
what to do.
Plus we
Why
had
aren't
a
you
bad
helping me?
citrus season.
And he needed to take out his frustration on something else.
And I had plenty of time.
He said, "Oh, I guess I could pull that."
No,
in."
I enjoyed it, and it changed. I learned stuff.
And what did you learn?
How much work it is. It's been since high school I did this stuff, you know?
Yeah, right.
Well, I know, one point Brian has made is what would someone, if they want to put their own little backyard garden in,
Oh,
what it
yeah.
cost to
Cost
put a
them to do
backyard?
that.
I mean,
I
you
want
could
this to
spend
be a good deal.
$500 easy.
I want people to feel like this is a good deal to them. You know,
Although
that it really makes sense, and it just as a concept that you come out and you work together on somebody's farm. And it's
You know
brought
what?
Yeah,
It'll
you've
make
done it.
sense when the stores aren't offering food anymore,
When you did it,
Well,
what, you figured it $15 a week for 36 weeks.
which
And you
was
know-
retail price. That was
Right.
just to get your money back.
Yeah,
And-
next year I want to put it at, I'm going to put 25 on there and it's going to be retail. But say someone, okay, you're going to get $25 worth of produce, but you're only paying 15, so you know the 450 actually.
Yeah, we were just like,
15.
we know you can get $15 worth of vegetables, and you've lost nothing.
Yeah, I mean, so I think, when we looked at it that way, we figured, all right, you have nothing to lose. You know, and, okay,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
We
No,
figured that we might not get 100% return, but, that was okay, because kind of back to what you were saying, it was, I think, important to Bruce. and
Well, the
I'm
freshness
tough.
also, because a lot of times, you
That's what
buy
he is.
something organic in Publix and it's been there a long time.
It
It
sucks.
expires the next day. I mean,
Yeah.
how long? When was that picked? Long time ago.
Yeah,
you know?
you're not getting the.
Yeah.
So for
nutrition
him, it was
and-
to get the
and
fresh
they look
produce.
pretty pathetic
I got
on
my
what they have.
$600
It is.
worth. I don't know about you guys, but I got.
You
Oh,
worked
we
your
did.
$600
Yeah, I'm sure I
worth.
did.
No, I
You
mean,
mean
on-
450?
Take home.
450,
on your-
450.
It was
Did you
450?
pay? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was 450.
Whatever
Yeah.
it was for. I got my 450, but then I really got it, because I thought I paid 600.
No.
I'll tell you what, I'm
$450
driven up
discount.
north and back,
If you
know.
paid all at once, it was 10% off
You
of
leave
that.
Yeah,
the
we
farm
did-
at your
we did
own
that.
peril, because going out there in the real world, it's hard to find food. I mean, I love,
You
all
did.
the on the road and everything.
yeah.
What people consider good food.
Yeah,
Holy fright.
yeah.
I'm going back home. I'm never leaving 37th Street again, you know.
But I think the other thing that
Stuff the camper
changed.
full next time.
Yeah, no, I think the other thing that changed was, I think February was a real pivot point, where then it's like, okay, those that were staying, and I think we all kind of kicked into a little high gear. But for us, I've known Paul, but not real well, through the citrus business like 20 years ago.
Really?
But I never really knew him. Now, and meeting Robert, for us, don't laugh, it was some of the social, because
Yeah.
we've now met
No,
other,
that
like,
was definitely a part of it,
might
for
be
sure.
a thing.
Yeah.
But no, are we out here just to socialize? No,
No, we wanted to bring back the community element. Nobody
Yeah,
is
so-
connecting
Oh, yeah,
anymore.
no.
So
that's
that's
important.
I think been really good, and I think I know that
Well, you
Laura
don't
and
feel
Tony.
alone. I
No,
think
yeah.
that's a big
Well,
part
it's
of
good
it.
for
You know?
us. It's like, hell, we're not real inspired to go out there and do all this stuff if it's just, us and the whitebirds out there. It's a
It's
good
nice
thing.
to, yeah.
It is. It's good to see some people out there, and especially if they're friendly faces. And
Yeah.
I recognize people, and people.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing to have
Yeah.
people out here working together. I love it.
I think once you start producing stuff, and at first it's just weeding and waiting for little plants to grow up and stuff.
Yeah.
You do a lot of it, but as soon as stuff starts coming in, you go, wow, this is really pretty neat, and you got a lot of nice vegetables.
Well, in the beginning, it's a little bit like Mr. Miyagi there with the wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
I'm not learning. People are out there, like you said, it's a little bit like a labor camp. We're out here, we're weeding, we're this, we're that. When are we going to get anything? Looking at these little tiny plants, and it's like, gee, is this? Well, yeah. Well, now, my God, you go out there and it's the horn of plenty out there everywhere. With okra at least. And,
Remember the one gal? She said it was the first week we seeded.
Oh,
she
yeah.
wanted her basket was ready.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was the first week we just put
Oh,
seeds in, and
that's
she
funny.
said, "Is my basket going to be ready for me to pick up this week?" And we were like, "Okay."
Those are people, no.
I think Miracle
They should
Grow
not
could
be.
do that.
Yeah. I was like, and she didn't even come out to help do that seeding. you know,
She
so,
Well,
dropped
she-
out though, didn't she?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I would
of course.
hope so.
Well, she just needs to be a non-working member, and that's like you were saying, no sense even getting these non-working people out here
No.
until there's something to give them.
And I think what you got to do is you say here's what here's what you can get as a non-member. Here's what you can get as a CSA non-working member for $20 a week. Here's what you get. And even for the working members, you know, to maybe just spell out a little bit of what we need to do. I thought the Bunny Bucks thing worked well.
It
I
did.
thought it was a
Yeah,
real
that
good way
worked
to-
out pretty good.
I thought it was a real good way to distribute it. You knew what you had and you used it. I thought that was a real good way to distribute to the working members.
Yeah, that saved a lot of like confusion and
Yeah.
complication and,
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I mean, there weren't too many
And
things
that
that we
we
actually had
morphed
to
into
limit.
that too. It wasn't
Yeah,
you know,
right.
It took a little while to get there.
yeah, we first had those clothespins.
All right, well,
Yeah.
let's,
But to get,
no, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, to get to that point of where we're producing enough for non-members, I think we need to talk more specifically about what we're gonna do this year.
Right.
And by, don't you think by the 1st of August, we need to know how many members we're gonna have?
Yeah.
And what their status is and so forth. And then begin the planning process.
Which isn't that
And
far away.
you just think,
It's just 1 month in
6 weeks
between.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
You know,
just got,
I'm gonna be gone the first week in August, and I was thinking about the other day, that's only 6 weeks away.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to rock and roll again.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And at that point, you know, we can start the planning process. Val mentioned Thursday that the area out across the street that we've used this year is gonna be not used next year.
Right, you know, I wanna
And
use
gonna move over
the beds
some.
that aren't like where the manure pile is, I'm thinking that's gonna be the tomato bed, we're gonna get that cleaned out here probably in the next month. And then, inside the fence, we're gonna put a fence line right along the ditch there to keep the
Oh,
animals out.
separate the cows out, okay.
But as soon as we
Yeah.
know how many members, then we can start specifically planning on it. We need to utilize less
Those two,
land
and then we have another.
next year than
Yeah,
we
I
used
think
this
we've
year.
kind of been
Need what?
spread out.
Utilize just less land.
Yeah.
We need to concentrate it more.
Or
Yeah.
as opposed to being
Double
on both
crop it.
sides of the road, I think that,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that may have been part of the problem with the strawberries and the tomatoes, is people were not coming over here and tending to them.
Right.
So if it was more in one area, that might
Well,
help.
all we have, if we do it on that front piece, you know, the front half across the street, we basically got 3 beds available. We got the one that's underneath manure right now,
Sorry.
on each side, right?
Okay.
And on the far side. Is that gonna be enough?
Are you
Well,
gonna leave all the
here-
western beds just
Here,
fallow?
what, we discussed the other day.
Right. Well,
I said, no, in the back, I thought maybe we, well, the tomatoes, eggplant, peppers, we thought underneath manure, we're gonna keep all cold sensitive stuff. So we can,
Yeah.
that's one of the things we're gonna invest in, is big.
With the
piece of
arches.
cover With the arches.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the strawberries on one end. We need less strawberries, less tomatoes. You know, I think.
Well, you could have 2 crops of tomatoes. You could have ones we plant in August, and then you come back and you have the other ones we plant
Yeah,
in
maybe
December.
that's what we do with the far east bed, but that could be another tomato planting, and we could repeat
You
that.
could have-
I
you could
agree,
have a
we
couple
need 2
squashes.
plantings of that.
what, Robert?
Plants.
We
Let's
do
get your
need-
thoughts while
yeah.
they're happening.
We do need to utilize the space much more effectively than we did this year. That way, use more plastic,
okay.
cuts down on the weeds, less space, cuts down on the weeding process. We had an awful lot of wasted space out there this year
Yeah.
that we did not properly utilize. And that's what it means to, you know, as lettuce begins to fail, pull it up and replant it rather than, you know, moving on down the road.
Yeah, we
Same way-
let a lot of things go to seed.
Yeah, we lost tons of stuff out there just because either it wasn't, we let it get too big, you know, we had planted too much of it, or we didn't pick it at the right time, or, you know, we lost a lot of stuff out there.
What
You
comes
look
to
out there
mind?
right
What
now.
vegetables come to
Well, you
mind?
look after, at the lettuce, of course, that's, but I think
Lettuce, arugula,
lettuce,
dandelion.
arugula,
Yeah,
dandelion,
arugula
obviously
was
the turnips.
overplanted, yeah, initially.
Yeah, nasturtiums, you know, we had great, but we had way more than we needed. And they probably needs to be planted more spread out to where they attract more of the bugs.
Well, that's where we'll have these non-working people that we fill their bags up for. And I
Yeah.
mean, if you screw up and plant too much of something,
Or
problem
bag of
solved.
nasturtium
Fill,
leaves.
Right.
fill the bag.
Yeah.
Put the whole plant in there. Who cares? You know?
But I do think we need to be a little more careful
But then it's harder to
Planning or
work
planning.
with too much area.
Pardon? Yeah,
It's harder to work.
yeah. I think there were a
Well,
lot
the
of
only
people
thing
that
is,
were overwhelmed.
that's okay with me, I just, we just have to really,
Instead of having too big of an area that's less taken care of, have a smaller area that's better taken care
I
of.
understand, and that's a nice idea. What we were saying, you know, you want to plant something and then 2 weeks later plant something again and keep it staggered like that. I mean, it seems like it gets to be like that little thing they give you to keep you busy before your food comes. You know, when you got to keep moving the little thing around, you know.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like that out there, trying to, if you
Keep it straight.
if you're
Oh, no,
really
no,
trying
it
to
is.
use it,
You'd
know,
have to sit down and almost map it out. I mean,
You got to plan.
you could plant some green cabbage, red cabbage, broccoli, well,
Well, we tried
those
to do
right
that.
there. And then you could plant some lettuces, and then they're gonna be up and ready before you got the next group of broccoli,
Yeah.
cabbages.
Well, we sort of try, you know, that
We tried to do,
when,
yeah.
When Mark and I made up that big chart, you know, I mean, we sat there and we scratched our heads. It's like, okay, so if we plant 100 feet of this, and then we plant, okay, and now then this will be done right about the time this, and oh my God, I mean, we were just, you know, you get goofy in the head after a while trying
Well, you
to
also
figure out
start
all the
thinking
time.
that you might have
Maybe
100
you do less
members too.
crops too, you know.
Well, yeah, you've got to know
Right.
how many members you got in order to
Yeah.
make the plan. You've got to know
Well,
that.
we'll
That's why
figure
it's
that
so-
out.
Well, we tried, I know that when we sat down with Val and you on trying to figure out, okay, that, you know, that Florida gardening book says
How many rows?
one, it says for a family of 5, it plans on a family of 5, that you should have, I think it was 5 eggplant plants and 5 pepper plants.
So
to
one plant
produce.
per person, basically.
Yeah, a plant per person. So, I mean, if we had some kind of guide to try to, all right, well, if we're going to try to have,
Yeah, but you want one of those each month, because you have 5 eggplant plants, a family of 5, you got 30 eggplants in 1 week. You're gonna get tired of it.
I would have said something completely different, to be honest with you. I'm actually thinking almost the exact opposite. I would have said, get busy, get the tractor out there, till up some land, make sure we have plenty, but then don't let it go to waste. Either accept more non-working people and fill their bags at $20 a piece and put that money back to the CSA, or take it to the farmer's market. But I'd go.
but do we have enough,
That's-
of us to work
That's
what's
it.
there?
You end up working, the core group ends
To
up
death.
doing too much.
Because
Yeah.
too big of
It's
an
just
area.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, too
Well,
big
You
of
can't
an
do it that
area.
way, Brian.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
I agree.
Okay.
It was, everybody
You don't want
agrees
it to
this
burn
year it
out.
was too
Right.
big of an area.
See, I got excited. I planted all this stuff, and now I'm trying to figure out how to sell it.
There you go.
You know,
And,
and it's true. That's what happens.
you know, we worked our
But I'm not
ass
giving
off
up on
to
my
do it,
okra.
too, you know, and it's,
We're picking 50 pounds of okra every other day, and I'm going to sell every last one of them. It's the last thing I do. You know, I mean, that's just me. I get a little
Yeah.
kooky, you know.
You can't, maybe the following year, the third, year after next, we can expand and know, but this year, I think we need to back up and
did you find
regroup.
it, Scott?
Yeah. And make sure that we do what we do well.
And be more efficient with
There
it.
you go.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
be more efficient
I
with
think-
it, more
I agree.
effective.
And you know what, and I think it'll be more rewarding for the members, that it's like, it's not too overwhelming, and it's like, wow, look at what we did. It's smaller, but man, it is top drawer.
And as you pick up more members that are willing to do what's necessary, then you can
Then
expand
then year
that-
3, we
that-
can
Just
expand it.
just keep in mind, I got a little trick up my sleeve. This here deal that pulls the plastic. We're going to get out of a whole lot of labor with weeding it. The more we can put on the plastic.
That's fine, it'll give us an opportunity to do other things.
Okay.
But you know, just remember too, when you certain things that we put in plastic, like cabbages, if we pull those cabbages out immediately, we need to put something else in its place. But you can't put cabbage back in that
Right.
place. We got to figure something else
You can
that's
reuse a lot of the
compatible.
plastic, but
Still
yeah,
stick
you
stuff
can
And
right
then
back.
probably throw a little shot of fertilizer, the
Uh-huh.
dry fertilizer down in the
Right.
hole before you plant
Yeah.
too.
There's so many
just
things
say
we
this,
can
but we
do.
do have to go. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I know the time.
Okay.
We have to feed Bruce's mom. That's our.
Okay.
All right,
new-
one last question
our
for
new
you then.
issue.
Since you had I called yours a mini CSA group.
Oh, okay.
How many people did you start with on your team that, we're coming
we probably
out?
started with 6. We grew to about 10, and we've got 4.
Yeah, we really.
4 left that come out and help you?
Yeah, regularly. It's
Which is-
Lolly and I, Tony and Laura.
Yeah. And
Oh.
I think Carol Balicki still comes out like every other week.
She was out here.
She comes out every
You're
other week.
saying
And
4
then-
including yourselves?
Yeah, and then Debbie J. So we kept Tor and Loney, Laura and Tony. Carol still comes out every other week, and so does Debbie Johnson.
And Janice, is she on your team?
No, Janice wasn't on our team.
Oh, okay.
We had a couple of people ask at the end to be on the team, and then I had kind of like not been good about getting email addresses, but.
So it got down to just the four of you. That's what it looked like.
Just do it where we work
So we're
through-
back. We went up to 10.
And how
We're
was
back
that
down.
though? Were you like, it was way too much work for the four of you, right?
It was. I think the thing that Bruce didn't like was that every time we came out, it's like something needed to be sprayed, and he's like, I have to strap on that goddamn backpack sprayer one more time.
Tony did it, but you know, really, when you get right down to it, some of these women are younger than I am. They could strap on a half full sprayer
They
and
say
do as well as
chivalry-
I could.
And they say chivalry's dead.
No sexism here.
No, because when he's like, I'm tired here. So, and I mean, we both did it.
And
So,
you did it.
no, I did
and
it
you know,
quite
you
often.
did.
Yeah.
So were
it's
you
just-
out there going, this is too much work? This is not
No,
working?
it's not. This is too much
The,
work.
the,
It's just I
the,
want
division of labor.
I just see, I saw it, it's the same people showing up and having to really take on the.
Were you
lion's
finding
share of
yourself
the work.
resenting the team?
No. Bruce was more. My feeling was, well, okay, we're almost at the end of the year. I'm not going to worry about
Let's
it.
not turn this
Next
into
year
a
we'll.
drama here.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think we felt anger. It's just we knew that it would happen. So you went from 10 people on the squash squad to 4 that were coming out regularly.
But I knew that next year things are going to be different.
Yeah.
You know, because most of those people are majority hopefully will fall by the wayside.
The
you
two
know, and-
things we will tell you, the two things people don't like to do are weeding. So if we do a lot on the plastic, that will certainly help that. And then the spraying with the backpack sprayer. I tell you what, I'd work that weed whacker any day. If you
mind that, huh?
no, if you said, listen, you know, we need somebody once a week to run that trimmer, give it to me. I don't mind mowing my own lawn. So I mean, but you've got other people that don't want to do that. I'd rather do that than pick weeds. So, but I mean, I certainly have done my share of weeding. So, you know,
I think
it's just the non-glamorous stuff that then, as Robert said, then you don't want people to feel that it's either a concentration camp or they got the gun to their head. It's got to be that they feel that they were rewarded at the end.
Harvesting is, everybody loves harvesting.
But that's why, as you
Except
said,
Diane. Diane loves weeding.
okay,
She's an
but as
exception.
you said, the problem is you got to get the work out of the people before you let them harvest. So you got to get the work out of them for a couple of hours and then say, okay, good job, now go pick.
Right.
Because what they wanted to do was, okay, let's go pick. Oh, all right.
That took
Here.
up my
Oh,
2 hours.
All right, here. Okay, yeah. All right, I weeded. Bye.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But I think honestly, with the group that you're looking at, and that the way you're going to pre-qualify people, I don't think we're going to have those issues next
Well,
year.
let's do this. Let's figure out how many people we know that we can really count on to make sure that things happen. Like I said, a lot of them are right here at this table. We've got a lot of people who are pretty good working members. They maybe don't get the complimentary membership category quite, but they're pretty good. We figure that out, then we know how many other people we can manage to accommodate.
Yeah, I know.
And I think we need to
Anybody
just
new,
agree
I
on
think
that.
we just have to have them come out.
I don't know
volunteer
if their
for it.
names are on here, but I think Pat Pitts and Sandra want to join.
They
They're
do?
maybes.
Pat said maybe.
Pat's on the
'Cause
maybe. You know
he's-
what his problem is?
he's
He
too
lives
far
south.
away.
He lives South County.
Half
Takes
a-
him
half hour.
over a half an hour to get here. So it's hard for him. And see, he's got a regular 9-to-5 job.
Is Sandra tied to him or she said
She's
yes
will-
on her own?
No,
They'll
I would
work
say as a
together.
group, but they both work together. They're Fish and Wildlife. So
I
she's
know,
got
so
the
if
same
he
issues.
doesn't, will she not?
I don't know.
No, I don't think
Unless you
so.
go, there's several fish and wildlife. There's
Yeah, and then
They're
there's
joined
another,
with another one,
there's
maybe
another one.
to-
and
Because
they
I
share
haven't
to
heard
share.
from any of them except for Patrick
They
said
share
maybe.
to share. And then I think Seth wants to join again. And I mean, Seth was really
He's good.
conscientious. He comes out every weekend. And God love him, after he bike rides, he's coming out here at noon. I'm like, Jesus, you're going to pass out, Seth. But he comes out, and
so he wants to definitely join.
I think he wants to join. I think he said he had maybe somebody else that he knew that wanted to join. He does not want the same woman that he was sharing a share with. 'Cause he
Yeah.
said she was worthless. So I don't know who she was.
Weren't they dating?
Huh?
They were dating, I thought.
Were they? Oh God, I have no idea. But anyway.
Good way to find out.
Yeah,
Maybe because
If
they're
dating
not
the right
dating
person,
anymore.
let's go
That
join
could
the
have been
CSA.
the problem. They want you to want to be out here.
Yeah.
with them,
So, but I mean, I think that's it. Figure out your core group, and then you know.
I think there's a few names here that aren't here. You're going to have at least 20 here.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to set an August 15th date? I mean, yes, there's stuff that needs to be done before that, which we could do as far as
Yeah.
like planting tomatoes and stuff like that. An August 1 date would probably be pretty tough. It's like you said, it's only 6 weeks away, getting the word out.
How do we want to get the word out? Do I
I
want
don't
to try to
know.
get the press journal to do something? Should we just?
Then I think you're gonna end up with looky-loos if you put something in the paper.
Yeah,
I'll put them out there with that hoe straight away. Here's your hoe, here's your hoe. Okay.
Here's your hoe, here's your
Talking
hoe.
about a labor camp, I know how to do it.
I think you get the mailing out to the current membership, Sue and Susan, and then just ask, does anybody?
So
know
what kind of
anybody else who
response
wants
did
to
you have
join?
back from people?
There it is, right there.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah, there's a good chunk that didn't say anything, and there's some people I'm going to be seeing today at the seminar, so I'll ask them.
Okay. But you, like
Patrick
you said, that's a
is
different
gonna
group
be there.
almost, yeah.
And then ask them to say if they know anybody else that's interested in joining for next season, because
Yeah.
you're gonna have to re-up on August 15th.
But you said you read the article in the
So
paper,
we
that's
only
how
have
you learned about it?
Less than half.
Yeah, there was an article in the
response back.
paper, I think over a year ago.
In September.
But that was last year.
Yeah,
And that's
last
how
year.
Robert
That's
joined
how
too. They
got
both saw the
information.
Was it in the
article.
paper?
Uh-huh.
All right, and see, we got word of mouth from Seth.
Well, it was about
with our kayak group.
Which Seth-
You know who I'm not sure of that you might put under maybe are Steve and Rhonda.
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't come out as often in the last 3 months, because she was kind of off of the,
Well, Steve's been coming out,
This is last year.
Oh,
but you know, they're not, they're
the
so
lettuce
busy
guy.
during the season. They
The
actually
tall-
have more
the
time
tall guy.
now.
Gray-headed.
Yeah, Don, the
Yes,
lettuce
Don,
guy.
Yeah.
Don Simon.
He
Is he on
probably
there?
will rejoin.
You want him to be?
He's looking for the singles club. Did you know
Oh,
that?
That's how naive I am.
This was the singles club for him, right?
Right. Was it?
He hasn't responded to me.
Okay.
He's talked about next year, but he didn't send me back an email.
I didn't.
Yeah, and then my friend
Well, you
Scott,
guys
who
worked
had
with
to
him.
drop
How
out,
did he
he's
work
he's a
okay with
maybe.
you?
He was
Scott?
yeah, Scott I think is. Remember Scott from the beginning of the year?
McCracken.
Yeah.
Now that he's married, life may be a little easier for him. But
Well, he's
I think
married. She's the one who wouldn't let him come out.
yeah, but here's the thing, now that they're married and he got a roof on the house and she's now living in his house, that I think he may,
You might want to get rid of him out of the
Yeah.
house maybe a little bit.
yeah, and I think he wanted to do it as much as an education thing for his kids, so I would definitely put him on a
But
maybe
they weren't
so that we,
interested in it, though.
yeah, I don't know.
And that's the other
Yeah.
kid issue.
Yeah, you need to
Right,
bring
got
that up
We're
now.
gonna, yeah. Susan, you want to have a kid roundup one day a week or something? And
Well, I was talking to Sherry Taylor through email, because
Oh yeah, that, our Tuesday group, we had a lot of people with
we're not
kids
doing-
on
no.
Tuesdays.
We're not going to work with kids. It's
Okay.
like it's
No,
an
that's-
oxymoron.
That's
Right,
fine.
just forget it. We're going to have. I love kids. Most of them I want to put in cages, but we're.
Sammy's like, what?
You're gonna go to the zoo, Sammy.
Worry, I already know that it's not important.
But no, we need to have days that are for kids, and we'll have pony cart rides, and we'll
Yeah.
swim in the pond, and we'll throw the cow chips at each other, or whatever. But let's not try to be actually getting the work
Working
done
with-
and
yeah.
having.
Well, I asked Sherry,
or
I
dogs.
don't know if you wanted to do this at all. I said I would ask you, but if you did have a separate garden that she actually was in charge of for
Sherry.
any kids who wanted hands-on learning, I don't know if you want that or not.
Yeah, because you
Well,
had
as-
Sherry's,
as long
Paula.
as it's a
Like
We
where
had a lot
she
of the
wasn't
kids on
working
our
in the main
Tuesday.
garden, but she was running it like a family garden.
Hey,
How you doing?
He just,
stranger, how
How
are
you
you?
doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I don't know if you want that or not. If you want to set,
that's fine, but let's just
Hey,
do
make sure
it
you call me before you
one
get
day a
up.
week.
Okay.
what?
Let's just do it one day.
Yeah, like it's separate from the other
Separate.
stuff.
How
Like,
about
One day a
Like 5
month.
o'clock or so? Actually, we've
well,
got-
the garden will have to be,
It'll be its own little garden.
yeah, it would be,
And maybe that could be Sherry could be.
That's what I'm-
Get her vegetables from there.
that's what I said, like, and she runs it like a family garden size, and it's just for where kids work, and it's, that's what she's in charge of.
Good.
Yeah.
Done.
Does that
As
work?
lo- but as long as
Still
she's
trying
not,
to sell real estate?
as long as she doesn't have too many kids
It
to keep
is,
track
actually,
of.
I'm doing
And I said I would help her with that.
She
Wow.
may need it.
Well, that would be
Yeah.
where Muriel,
that's okay.
Raven Good, and if they want to rejoin,
It's
they
been
have
a
a
long
little
time.
kid. Maybe they
Good to
come out.
see you too, Robert.
That's what I mean, it's separate, and yeah, it's not related to the work shifts of the adults or anything.
Robert Sullivan? Knew him from 100 years
Just-
ago, high school?
It's, I leave keys and tractors and stuff out here. It's only a question of time before somebody turns that key.
Yeah,
and
if
that
the
thing
kids are
starts
just
up in
loose
gear
and not,
takes out
and
10
not,
people in their cars.
Well,
And,
right.
In addition to that, the people that's supposed to be working are, if they're taking care of their kids,
That's right.
or they're not taking
That's
care of their
right.
kids, and the kids are running rampant. It's one or the other. I mean, they're not contributing.
Yeah, I mean, Sherry's got 3 kids,
Yes.
Paula had 2. On our Tuesday, we had kid day. I mean, it was,
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I don't have kids.
Aren't they
so-
supposed to be in school?
They're all homeschooled. That's one of the interesting things. A lot
Are
of
they
this.
still supposed to be in school at home?
It's part of their education.
Yeah,
You know, and
Cindy.
I appreciate
That's why we built
that.
schools.
Yeah, but
So you can get
Sherry,
some work done.
Sherry
well,
and
because
Paula,
like
I deny
Lamar
them, but
is a
at the same
homeschool
time-
mom, and there's a bunch of homeschool moms who
well,
joined
she's hot. She can do
for
it.
their kids.
That's it, yeah. So that was Sherry and Paula and I don't know
And
who
Lamar,
else.
like I said, and there was,
Cindy Carver.
well, whatever, it's your decision there.
That's, yeah,
I
but,
think if you do it as a separate facility where the
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah, like a separate garden.
Yeah, there's a couple that are stomping stuff.
so what you'd like to do is like lay it out like you did the
Yeah,
meeting,
Robert,
right?
what are
So
you
that
putting
we
back?
know.
Is that your map you made?
Well, we don't need to do anything till
Yeah,
we find out
today,
how many members we
right.
got.
Yeah.
Well, just so everybody knows, I mean, as far as space limitations, this front 5 acres out here, I'll probably use for pasture again after we're all done with it here,
Yeah.
because I got more goats on the way, and everybody. And I
How about
kinda-
pigs? Are you getting more of them?
Yeah, we may. There's one out there now. But anyway, but I got no problem using the back 5 acres behind where our gardens are right now, because I'm going to run a fence all along that ditch, connect the phone poles basically all the way to the back, so the cows won't be having access to all that. I don't think I'm going to use that for pasture anymore. And so that's.
Now, do you have enough time in the next couple of months to then till that and get it going
I
and,
do.
and adding what you need to add to it?
I do.
Okay.
I do. So I don't think we need all of it.
Okay.
If we're going to use a couple of the beds from up front there. But I could. I mean, it just, I guess we'll see how many people want to sign up. And I just don't want to run out of space. We've got enough land out here.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of things I think.
But you're right. We don't need to try to keep track of more than we need either. It's balanced.
Well, it's not as much as what we need, it's a matter of, we just got to make sure that we properly utilize
That you can really take care of.
and take care of
Yep, sure.
what we're capable of
Yeah.
taking care of. No more, if we find that we can do more, add some more next spring.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But don't get carried away
Yeah.
Okay.
this fall.
Well, we'll probably have our own, I'll probably do a bed of my own, and I'm probably gonna actually probably grow less variety. I'm gonna sit down and think, it's not economically feasible. It's cheaper for me to actually just physically go buy it from Albert than for me to grow it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some things that just get,
And the
I just
amazing.
don't sell that much of it. It's
Right.
stupid to grow it and, throw half of it away.
Yeah.
I just don't
Yeah,
want
or
it.
like Brian, how do you sell, 200 pounds of okra a day?
You can't.
Well, and we can go from sod to bed under plastic immediately right now. I did it where we have our peppers and eggplants planted across the street under
Yeah.
the plastic. That was just sod over there. And I took that 5-foot tiller, dropped that thing in there, made 2 passes, and it was unbelievable. I mean, stuff that was just so thick, big clumps of that heavy grass and everything, and that thing just shreds the snot out of it. And then I
And
went
then you
through
cover it
and
with plastic?
pulled it into a bed of plastic. Done. I
Smothered.
mean, it's beat
Yeah,
to death and it's
That's
shredded up and
unusual,
it's
but I don't know how that happened.
But if you plant like you were talking
Typically,
about,
you would till it and then you would till it again, let it die off, till it again, a few
That's
times. But we
true.
didn't there. And what's amazing is the grass isn't growing up through it.
that's great.
As long as you don't have the rips in it, it won't basically be.
Well, that's
exposed
because
to
the
it.
cow did that.
But yeah, so we, if we figure we need more space, I can make that happen pretty quickly
quickly.
if it's going under plastic, or even not. Just having that tiller speeds things up a lot. The disc sort of cuts it up, and you keep going back over it. But that thing, I mean, it shreds it, that deep.
Yeah, because one thing though about like this year, like what you were kind of saying about land is, we started out with 60 shares and we're planning for 60 shares and we're thinking we have the workforce for 60 shares and then all of a sudden it's down to 3 people coming out at a time having to do 60 shares worth that aren't even coming to pick it up. So, I don't know how you
That's the
fix
screening
that.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the money up front too.
Yeah, and the money up front. Right.
Well,
But you mentioned having a separate potato bed and then a separate bed for the cold sensitive.
Yeah, and I'm thinking the
crops.
potatoes in the back, because they say potatoes, you plant potatoes and you shouldn't put anything else in there. Have a dip coat.
Everybody else.
Well, sorry, we have to
All
let
right.
you go.
Yeah.
Open part of the bag